Gavin Baker, Head of Sport and Performance at Surrey Sports Park, and we're here today at the Triathlon Show at Sandown Park.
Today at the Triathlon Show we're running cycling and running lactate tests so we can identify the lactate threshold.
We go through some individual and group work, some workshops, so that you'll get a chance to not only do some tests on some of the machines you see here, also some further sort of tests with our scientists. You also get a chance to work with our strength and conditioning coaches, our nutritionists, that actually give you some real in-depth practical knowledge you can take back to your training program or even when your next competition.
I'm a keen amateur cyclist doing sportives and cycling holidays in the Alps and the Pyrenees. I've never done a running lactate test, so I'm interested to know what it comes up with. I've got a Ride London 100-mile cycling event in August. You know, any tips that would help me to train for that would be good.
Most people think having a laboratory or scientific testing done and getting feedback is just for the professional athletes. But I totally disagree. The age group athletes don't have the time to train as much. They need to be very specific with their heart rate zones and their zones in training.
I've never had a lactose bike test before and it was pretty tough. The guys here are absolutely brilliant because as I was doing the actual test I could ask them why we were doing certain things.
I've probably had 50, without exaggeration, tests, you know, all around the world, but I found Joe to be very knowledgeable. He knew exactly what he was doing. It was a very smooth operation without any hiccups, and he was able to give me the information very clearly, precisely and instantly after the testing was done.
Knowing your lactate threshold helps you to be a bit more specific with your training because it's a movable point and it's basically your best performance predictor for endurance-based sports such as triathlon.
Yeah, it was a hard half hour. They told me it wasn't going to be too hard and it'd be sub-lactate, but it certainly went over my lactate threshold pretty quickly. It's really informative the whole way through.
I think it's quite important to do it regularly as well. I mean, if I think about myself, because I've only really started training properly this year recently, so I'm probably going to start improving very quickly. So I'll have to keep doing this regularly to make sure I'm training at the right zones.
People like to train a lot and they don't like to, you know, maybe come to a show or go and have a testing done. But that time you spend doing that is very, very beneficial.
This actually made me realise that with a bit of information regarding lactate, that maybe that session that I was doing in 2 hours I could actually be doing in 40 minutes, which is fantastic.
I mean, the more you know about the science, the more it will help you in your sport, and it will obviously help you, prevent you from getting injured as well doing your sport.
My performance has probably increased 30 or 40% since I started taking my thresholds, my heart rate training seriously.
So just know I've got an extra 50 watts in me, you know, can make the difference between going along and having fun to getting podium in my age group. So just knowing that can make a big difference to how I enjoy the sport.
I mean, the reason for an amateur or a keen amateur sportsman, I suppose, is to find out how hard you can push yourself in training.
Being able to see yourself improve helps with motivation. You know, you can set yourself goals. And
This is elite athlete testing, available for everybody who wants to compete and get better.